Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, next topic being driving cost efficiency and control in enterprise commute operations. And to discuss on this topic, we have with us Miss Priyanka Ghosh, Director Sales, MoveInSync. Everyone, she has over 15 years of experience in driving business growth, building high-performing teams, and cultivating strategic client relationships. Her career spans diverse industries, including telecom, hotels, real estate, travel, and transport, where she has consistently excelled in sales operations, revenue generation, and strategic market adoption. Everyone, please welcome her with a very big round of applause, Miss Priyanka Ghosh.
Thank you. Yeah, I am one of those culprits, the suppliers that we were talking about just now. Thank you. Thank you for the bio, ma'am. Well, interesting topic. But while I was making the presentation, I thought, why do I have to bore you with what you already do, right? Supplier selection is one thing that you guys already know. How does the background verification happen of capability and also making sure that the cost effectiveness is there? You already know, right? So I don't want to get into that. What I wanted to throw is some numbers of where we were pre-pandemic, where we are now, and why is it important? I am from transport. I'm talking about MoveInSync. I'm talking about how transport for employees is helping employees come back to the offices, retention of the employees, and having also the valued, talent that you're trying to bring back to your own companies, right? So transport plays an important role, and how we will see. So Hyderabad as a whole, if I talk about the population, in the last 5 years, the population in Hyderabad has grown by 10%, which in the next 5 years, we see, or that's how the numbers are looking like, will grow at 12.7%, which is 12.7 million population is what is where we foresee the numbers would go, which means that much of congestion, right? And not just the numbers in terms of population, people are also moving outside the society, outside where they are. So if your office is right now, say in a high-tech city or a Gachibowli or say a financial district, pre-pandemic, there was an average distance that an employee was covering up to 18 to 20 kilometers, which has now moved to 22 to 25 kilometers. That's that much of extra distance that an employee is traveling to work, right? We did some heat map, and this is strictly MoveInSync. We have some 600,000 users who uses the MoveInSync platform on a daily basis, right? So if I have to talk about only MoveInSync user calculation, this is where we are. And generally, we have seen an entire Hyderabad work population, almost 50%, say 45% of the population comes from 22 to 25 kilometer distance on a daily basis to work. And that is the heat map that is looking like. I have taken example of only financial district, Gachibowli, and high-tech city offices, and that is how the heat map looks like at any given point of time. So traffic congestions. In a morning rush hour, I've done some calculations and some non-rush hour and rush hour, and how does the distance look like, how does the employee feel when they're traveling to work, right? So that is the morning rush hour work versus the non-rush hour time, and this is for the duration, the time that an employee takes. So it is generally travel time it takes is 54% higher in the evening and 34% higher in the morning compared to a non-rush hour, which means that when you're selecting a supplier, and if you're selecting us, how do we help or how do we make sure that your employees are not, even if they are traveling to work, how does the policy of the transport that we designed for you help the employees not feel the travel when they're traveling to work, right? This is the time that they consume. So evening rush hours we see is 15% more than the mornings when they're coming to the office is not that congested as compared to the evenings. And this is the heat map again. The darker the cells means the more number of people who are traveling to work at that time or that location. Pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, again, 2018-19, the average commute time was somewhere around 51, which has now gone to 58, almost 1 hour of travel an employee does in a daily basis. So that's a very, very alarming situation, right? People, that's the reason, even if it is not hybrid and you want people to come back to work, this is one of the major reasons that they don't want to come to work. We were doing some sentimental analysis. So in the application of MoveInSync, we also have something called as a feedback mechanism, right? Where employees can rate the driver, rate the overall experience of the commute, rate the co-passengers, the routing, and all of that. We were doing some sentimental analysis, and we understood that one of the major factors of why an employee chooses a company to work for has to do with the transport as well, how they're coming to work, right? So 76% of the commuters said that it is, they regard so they regard commute as one of the factors when they select a company for where they want to work. Out of that, 41% said that this is the most unliked time of the day. And it is alarming, right? That is the reason we want a solution towards this. So that because ultimately we are all working towards betterment of the employees, so that employees are happy and they are happily working in the company. 23% of the employees of the entire population that the sample size was said that they have left the companies in the past because there was no commute given to them, or the commute policy was such that they were traveling maximum time, or maximum deviations were taken for dropping other passengers or co-passengers. This is one interesting slide. So we were talking about cost. So there are generally two parameters, right? Whether employees are taking a public transport or they are taking a transport which is private. In the public transport, either it's a metro or it is a bus to come to office, generally the numbers of around 1,500 to 3,000 is what they will spend in a month. But their experience, from the employee's point of view, the satisfaction index is obviously low because they are taking the public transport and they are paying from their own pocket, right? But below, 70% is private transport, which includes they traveling on their own when they're driving on their own, which is around 5,000 to 8,000 that they spend on a monthly basis. Medium to high is in terms of the satisfaction index. But there are the two columns below that you see is without MoveInSync and with MoveInSync. So without MoveInSync, there are a lot of other companies also in the same platform, right? And everybody is working on the same stuff of routing, of best of routing is what we provide, best of clubbing is what we do, best of cost effectiveness is what we do. But when we see the numbers, end of the day, it is not just the kilometer rate that you are negotiating. Ultimately, what are you paying? What is your total cost of operation is important. And that is where MoveInSync plays an important role. So without MoveInSync, we have seen generally with other companies, they spend around 5,000. It can go up to 12,000 also sometimes. Our customer success KRA for every month is to make sure they are engaging with the customers, not just to make sure that their renewals are happening, but if you are currently spending 100, how do we make it 98 for you? But also, it can be that there is no scope. It is 100 and it is 100 optimized. How do I optimize the operations for you so that there is no room for any leakage possibilities? We talk about GCCs all the time. There are too many GCCs. The GCC buzz is there everywhere, right? So I wanted to have a couple of slides on that, of where GCCs where we are headed by 2023. Some numbers just to give, because we are talking numbers, about 2,150 unique logos is what we see in the next 5 years. With offices, so there are multiple GCC offices that are coming, right? If there is a Bangalore office, they will have a Pune office also. If there's a Hyderabad office, they will have another office in Delhi maybe. Double the number of offices that we see. And that's how the manpower numbers look like in the next 5 years. For GCCs again, if I have to just talk about Hyderabad, 30% of the new GCCs that are coming are choosing Hyderabad. There are a lot of GCCs. So I happen to be leading GCCs in MoveInSync as well for Pan India. Numbers that we see, out of say 100, 30% are coming to Hyderabad. There are a lot of GCC examples that I have where they have chosen Bangalore initially, have then later on shifted to Hyderabad. So that's the number looks like, and it will only grow from here because our infrastructure at any point of time is better than any other cities at this point, right? Also, the workflows is what, this is the workforce that we have right now, around 2 lakh to 2,50,000. Something to do with the environment, of course. We are talking about commute, we are talking about the cost, we are talking about how employee satisfaction index looks like. We should also talk about how does the environment look like when we are giving a transport, right? So this slide is generally talking about GCCs, but if I move the GCCs also and talk about the rest, one interesting research that our EV team were doing was when we come to office. So for this event itself, I drove some 15 kilometers from my home to this location, correct? For every 10-kilometer car ride that you take, we emit around 2 kgs of carbon dioxide, which is equivalent to 1 tree converting into oxygen. It takes 1 month. For every 10-kilometer ride that we take, 1 tree converts that 10-kilometer 2 kgs of carbon dioxide. It takes a month to change it into oxygen. And that leaves us the thought as to where we are headed towards, right? So can we pledge? I'm not sure how much of this we can do, but what we can do is maybe opt for 1 day without a car, maybe ride, if it is possible, a bicycle, or walk if you are close to the office. I say about 20 kilometers away. That's impossible for me. Or maybe no single driven car, maybe at least once or 2 days a week. Can we start from that? That's a pledge that we have to take, right? Finding not just the colleagues in your team, but throughout the office maybe. Somebody will be there in that vicinity who's coming the same distance. Can you club together and come? It will save your cost. It will save the carbon dioxide at the end of the day, carbon emission, right? Yeah. MoveInSync, it's a lucrative, right? You're all procurement. I am supplier. I'll talk something about the company. So, yeah. So what we are doing is it's not just the employee commute that we are into, not just the technology as MoveInSync has always been known as. We are also doing the fulfillment and the operations. So we are doing the end-to-end operations for any company, which is technology, the fleet fulfillment, as well as the operations. So it is one neck to choke or one shoulder to pat at the end of the day for you. But along with that, we are also automating your workplace. So for an employee, from the time they step out of their office, of their home, and when they come back to the home, the entire journey of in the travel, while in office, coming back, security, everything is taken care by MoveInSync, right? So that was my last slide. Enough selling. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We would like to felicitate you. I request Mr. Rutvik Dave, Head Purchase and Supply Chain, MYK Electric India Private Limited, to please come upon and felicitate our speaker. Everyone, please give her a big round of applause. Thank you so much.